USA.
A lot of people make jokes about spacing somebody, about shoving somebody out an airlock. I don't think it's funny.
It is Thursday night. This is The Spacing, and I am your host, Tim. I am the culture war realist, rational individualist. I'm the expanded universe absolutist. I am the alpha with nostalgia. I know the Lord of the Core. I storage in the origin. I know the record like a tech nerd. I've got the hot takes for the bot fakes, and most importantly, I am never a victim. Once again, guys, welcome to the premier channel when it comes to the history of the franchise and the lore of Star Wars and many other properties, franchises, universes, and whatever else you want to call them. Hit the like button. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. Share the link out there. Repost on Rumble. Let's get the word out. It's going to be a short stream tonight. Been an extremely intense week. So we're going to go ahead and get the topics covered and move on. We'll be back Sunday night, but we got some stuff to talk about. It's been a couple of weeks since we went live for the spacing, so I had to do it given what's going on in the news this week. And thanks for the raid from Mr. Grizzy over there on Rumble. Appreciate that. Looks like the comments are showing up. It's hit or miss when it comes to Rumble on my streaming software. Let's see whom we have with us tonight. We got Jordan EU Purist. Force choke the light, but totally agree. Make sure you guys do that and share that link out there. I think we got Mike here, been listening to the J.I. Acup CD. And thanks for bringing that up. Second comment of the night. I got a surprise for you guys. More than likely tomorrow, right? Friday in the States. My album will be coming out. The editing's done. The songs have been done for a couple of days. All the video editing, because some of them will have just very simple video to go along with the music. Some will have more complex. I think I'm up to 11 tracks, maybe 12. We had to add another one after something happened. And the album will be Yavin Bass Broadcast. And all the memes you guys know and enjoy will be present. So I got to come up with the album cover. And I have Gabriel Knight helping me out, but I know he's been really busy the last couple of weeks. If he isn't able to help me, then I can work on it myself. And then I just need to string all of the tracks together into one long video, kind of like Melvin did with the J.I. Acup CD. And the difference is Melvin did one genre, which was the plan from the beginning, because he was giving us updates. Mine will be very eclectic, from death metal to late 90s pop punk, boy band music. Let me think of what else. I have one reggae song in there. Country rock, like, arena country rock type of stuff. Just 11 or 12 tracks, guys. 2 different rap genres. I got a cloud rap song, and then I've got a hyphy song. If you're not from Northern California, you may not know what hyphy is. Didn't last very long, to be honest, just about 4 or 5 years. It was a thing, but this album is, trust me, you're going to want to blast this in your vehicle. So planning on releasing that tomorrow. If not, I'll probably wait till Monday, but I'm 99% sure we'll get that out tomorrow on Friday. So thanks for bringing that up, Mike, and giving me the chance to mention it. Nas is in the house. What's going on? And then right out of the gate, Silver Ogre rejoining the channel. Let me pop over here at the Spacer Recruit level. You've been around for years. Hell, I think you came around when we had Deadwood Dale. In fact, I reposted a stream on Rumble where Dale, I think it was his final appearance on the channel a couple of years back. So, Miss Dale, but I think that's when you started joining us back in 2022. Thanks for sticking around all those years. You've been a great supporter. And it's got to be really agonizing, right? Just to stay around listening to me for that long.
Your agonizer, please.
Thanks, Silver Ogre. And then he's got those custom emojis. You get to use those if you become a member of the channel on YouTube. We got to get some going on Rumble. Got to find the time to do it. Nuisance Bird, haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Saying, Kaka! King Chris, super member and mod, is in the house. Using the custom emojis. Double A's in the house. Chanting USA. Blue-Eyed Scorpio, been a couple of weeks. Haven't seen you on online on YouTube, but I don't know. I haven't really been checking YouTube out in the daytime. Been really busy with work, but I'm sure you're still streaming. Keep on doing it. I think one day you had a pretty good crowd going. The True Aztec Warrior in the house. That's a pretty badass name. And thanks again to Grizzy for the raid. Fathor Malone 2640s here. Steezo, for life in the house, saying howdy. Because guess what, guys? We say howdy here. Super member Steezo, longtime supporter and friend tonight in the house. Darth Draconius, saying howdy. So yeah, we do have... Or I don't think we have the Rumble comments showing up. No, I don't think we do. It's hit or miss. My streaming software, they've got to get that figured out. But over on the Rumble side, we have a pretty good crowd going. We got Justin Star Wars Marvel Purist. We got Dr. Mafia. We've got, and if I miss anyone, I apologize. It's hard to see. Tehelim 29. SWA 223 is in the house tonight. John Getz is in the house, and he gifted 5 subscriptions to United Spacers Alliance on Rumble. And a subscription on Rumble is a membership on YouTube. So thanks to John for that. Looks like Mojo Jojo got one. Dr. Mafia got one. And a few other people. Thanks, John, for that. Appreciate the 5 memberships from John Getz Gaming.
Pirate ship eliminated.
Special effects by Industrial Light and morons.
We got to grow Rumble. It's just what we have to do. King Chris, wish I could highlight this $20 super chat over there on Rumble. Thanks for putting in the work, making the music. Can't wait to hear it. And I am not patting myself on the back. It's like all I did was write the lyrics, and I've always been a pretty good lyricist. So I'd bang out the lyrics in 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever, plug it in there, type in what I want, crank up the adherence to my directions, crank down the creativity, and the AI does its thing. I didn't have to redo any of them. In the past, I've had to redo a few because it didn't come out the way I wanted. But all these songs came out the right way, and I'm like, this is just amazing. And then the video parts, you're going to laugh. You have to watch the videos on most of them. Some of them are just kind of there to get, put something on the screen, but some, there are references. If you know the lore, right, behind YBB, you guys, you're going to freaking love this stuff. You're going to laugh. Like, I laugh when I was when I was making some of this stuff because it was just hilarious. So every intention to release that tomorrow. And King Chris has helped us out with some AI in the past. And again, AI, it's not AI slope as the new meme, the new references become. There's ways to use AI to where it's entertainment, and you're not going to go say, hey, make a movie or write a book. You're just using it to entertain, right? I don't really have a problem with people using it for animation necessarily if it's done well. And the way that we've been using it, when I say we, people in the GK, it's been funny and fun. So we're not out there trying to make a movie or write books and shit like that. We're just trying to entertain. So that's how we're using it. Let's see who else we have. John gets $2 on Rumble. Tim has the best lyrics, the best songs. I listened to his stuff. I said, wow, that's good stuff. Even crazy Kathy Kennedy might like it, and she's a nasty woman and not smart. Yeah, because, in some of the diss raps from the past, we made them for real, right? Melvin did a few, J.I. Acup and whatever else, and I did several, and those were fun too. But now it's like, look, we got some really professional stuff with the AI software. Yeah, hit him up. Justin as well. Tupac, hit him up. I don't think I missed anyone else on the Rumble side. Like I said, it's tough to see over there. But back on the YouTube side, got 5 USA memberships from Steezo for life. Looks like Darth Draconius got one. Decrepit is in the house. Coaster Holics, Fuck Norris, and Mr. Grizzy, all now members of United Spacers Alliance, with Grizzy doing what we call casting that see invisibility spell, revealing who's been watching the. And thank you very much, Steezo for life, for that. Fuck the fandom menace.
Fuck the fandom menace.
Appreciate that. Yeah, there's references to that in the songs at least twice about the illiteracy. Blue-Eyed Scorpio says, I don't mind AI. People do cool shit that other people enjoy. That, yeah, I mean, we're not out there trying to replace art or talent. It's just making things easier when you want to come up with instant entertainment. And I mean, come on, at our level, a couple of YouTubers, we're just trying to make people laugh and stuff. So I don't really have a problem with it, to be quite honest. Thanks for being here tonight, guys. Like I said, we want to knock out the topics because it's been a long week. All right. So this is the part of the stream where we talk about what we're going to talk about. And you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. Disney Star Wars to these people is their political porn. So we're going to get into some examples and what's been said just in the last few days about what's been going on with Minneapolis and stuff. And then Puck News and their stupid reactions. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But I want to go into the history of Cuck News as well. So thanks to the good Admiral for showing us what we're going to talk about tonight. Like I said, just a couple of topics. You got to pick your spot sometimes when it comes to this stuff. Looks like Melissa Lord's in the house on the Rumble side. Riff Magos is over there. Thanks for being here, guys. So let's go ahead and let's dive into this political stuff, because we're sharing stuff in the private chats and it's so stupid. I just can't stress how stupid this stuff is. We got to go into shield mode because we don't want to reveal private information. So let's go ahead and get that done.
Down scope! Down scope! Radar about to be jammed.
All right. So you have Star Wars Holocron. Amazingly, I'm not blocked. I thought I was. Most of these pages and people have me blocked. I think it's Star Wars Culture that I'm thinking of that has me blocked. So they're quoting this account. Noam, Christy Noam, they're referring to in Minnesota, was an act of domestic terrorism. ICE officers got stuck in the snow. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over. What did they say in Andor? They don't bother to lie badly anymore. Don't know what they said in Andor because I didn't watch that shit. So here come the comments. John F. Trent, our old friend John F. Trent, known the guy for quite a few years. Communists are the enemy of truth, quoting Francisco Franco. You don't know the guy, look him up. DVS Lord, the meme master, dumb cunt. Do not attempt to run a federal agent over. And then some of the truth here he's posting. Haven't seen you in a while, DVS Lord. Hope you're doing well. We got Justin here, Bane of the Shills. You're a communist retard. Darth Felix, Andor isn't the real world. In the real world, there is a consequence for your actions. In the real world, you are required to follow the directions of law enforcement or shit like this happens. And honestly, this is like really more than law enforcement. These guys are trying to protect America, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to carry out their duties. And we'll get into that in a minute. If you actually cared about bringing Star Wars fans together, you'd not do this unrelated stuff here. Nerdgenics. Leftists continue to illustrate they do not live in reality. I mean, just tons of people roasting here. And these people, they're just disconnected from reality. They want to make Star Wars about something it isn't. And you could argue all day about what the politics of Star Wars are or was under George. You could argue all day about that. But in the real world, it wasn't about creating divisiveness like this, like Tony Gilroy purposefully did. And we covered all that stuff going all the way back to 2022. Like he's purposefully trying to be divisive. Here's the proof right here. Let's turn the shield off for a minute. Andor showrunner Tony Gilroy says the series will mess with Star Wars canon, which always ends well. And we covered this again, 2022, and when the second season came out. There are certain events that happen in these 5 years that are important and need to be paid attention to. There are certain people, characters that are legacy characters that the audience, the passionate audience, really feels that they have an understanding of and know. In some cases, they're right. And in some cases, what we're saying is, here it is, what you know, what you've been told, what's on Wikipedia, what you've been telling each other is really all wrong. And in summer of 2022, for those who weren't watching at the time on the spacing, we showed how they don't need to remake the original trilogy or the prequels to reboot Star Wars. All they have to do is do exactly what he's doing here and use these programs, these books, these comics to reshape what Star Wars means. And in this last season they did of Andor that just ended in June, I think, they in interviews, he and the others, they really took it all the way and said, yeah, we're trying to be real world political current politics. And that is not what George was about. You get all these idiots that are misquoting the Vietnam stuff. And, oh yeah, it was the Ewoks were Vietnamese and blah, 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 and all this stuff. The rebels were the Viet Cong. And no, that's not what George meant. We've covered it a million times. Because that was just one example he gave. It was of a smaller force fighting a larger imperial force. In that example, he also gave the revolutionaries in America as well. So crap like this, going back to 2022, where he's straight up telling you what you thought you knew about Star Wars and what we did know, it's not what we thought we knew, is wrong. Like, he just exposed himself. Let's put the shield back on because we're going to go to a post I made. When was this? This was in 2022 when I first got the book, the original trilogy Star Wars Archives. And this is back when that's another thing. We had a few streams on this where a couple of these outlets were saying Star Wars is dystopian. Andor is just yet another installment of the dystopian Star Wars universe. And Star Wars was never dystopian. So in this little segment right here in the book, page 51 of the big book, probably a different page in the other two editions of it, the small abridged version and the medium-sized full edition. Positive. George Lucas, and this is him talking about Francis Ford Coppola, finished The Godfather 2, and he said, I'm going to finance movies myself, so come into Apocalypse Now. I had a choice. THX 1138 was an angry protest against the way we were living, and American Graffiti was a fun study of the way we are. Apocalypse Now was very much like THX 1138, and Star Wars was very much like American Graffiti. So I thought it was more beneficial, especially for kids who probably wouldn't get to see Apocalypse Now, to be optimistic and to be able to open their minds to visions that anything is possible. And if you are positive enough, we can make this a good world, then it is to say how terrible we've made the world and what a bunch of animals we are. In the end, I said, I'd still like to make Apocalypse Now. It's something that needs to be said. But I think it's more positive and more helpful at this point if I continue to make Star Wars. That's where it came down to, combined with the fact that I was into it and I didn't want to get derailed and stop this and start that. So that tells you what you need to know. He didn't make Star Wars to be divisive and make real world politics an issue. He wanted escapism. He wanted, and this isn't the only time he's talked about this, he wanted to make a movie that wasn't one of those crappy 70s movies. I'm trying to think of the name of this movie, The Sorcerer, I think. It's about these guys on this rainy road somewhere in South America. I think it came out around the same time Star Wars did. And Star Wars kicked its ass because people were tired of all those depressing, dystopian 70s movies. And I think that's why like blaxploitation films were so popular, because they were pretty fun, right? And maybe like the Hammer horror films. They were fun. It was something different than all these just gritty and depressing dramas that they came out with in the late 60s and all the way, quite frankly, up to the late 70s. So that's why, one of the reasons why Star Wars was so popular, because word of mouth spread that, oh, this is, a fun movie and we learned something and you walk out with a good feeling. That's what he was doing there. He wasn't trying to say, okay, they're on the Death Star and, that's like a U.S. ship out in the South China Sea. And they weren't doing that. All these out of context quotes from people like Mesa Windu, they're just low IQ doofuses, or they're being intellectually dishonest. Bane of the Shills, Justin says, USA the Star Wars historian. Yeah, I try to be. I try to be a historian of all the franchises, Star Trek and Doctor Who and all of it. Yeah, the raspberry. That's going to be the new radar jam when we got to do what we're doing on the screen now. OG Star Wars in the house, top tier member of the channel. And I agree, hit the like button if you're on Rumble or on YouTube. Darth Melvin's in the house. The shills want Gilroy to be president of Lucasfilm. Oh yeah, I've seen that shit. And I say, make it happen. Like, I want it ruined even worse than it is. Have another Star Wars funeral. Have one a year. I don't give a shit because we have the real stuff, right? Decades of it. Make more of it. Make him the president of Lucasfilm, of Disney Lucasfilm, and we'll just continue triggering them and telling them how they're wrong and how they really don't like Star Wars. Yeah, fake Bail Organa and Mon Pelosi. And here's the thing, like Mon Mothma in Expanded Universe. And you can tell even in Return of the Jedi, she wouldn't have tolerated that kind of crap. Let's say they retake a planet. Let's say they retook Coruscant in Wedge's Gamble, the Kredos Trap, Back to War. Now they have the planet. Do you think she would have tolerated any insurgent Imperials? Absolutely not. And here's something I'm going to bring up. I haven't seen this out there. Maybe someone's mentioned it, but I haven't seen it. What about Ashley Babbitt, right? I didn't see all these liberals backing her up, and she wasn't trying to run someone over. They were just running through the Capitol building, just acting stupid, but they weren't trying to run people over and all that kind of shit. So no one's brought that up that I've seen. John gets for $2. She very clearly was trying to murder him. No one made her accelerate. Anyone would be justified responding with deadly force. To deadly force with deadly force. This applies to idiots throwing rocks at your head too. Yeah. And another $2 from John. It's honestly easier to be modern day topical. They just pander. Much harder to make something timeless that has timeless values and morals. And that's something we've talked about before too, where it is timeless to be against tyranny, right? It's just that they like to think they have the monopoly on determining what tyranny is. That's George's Star Wars. And that's most great stories. Yeah, you're exactly right, John. You are exactly right. Mesa Windu is very dishonest. Yeah, Mr. P Country. Yeah, that bridge scene in Sorcerer. Yeah. Changed in 99 when the saga began. Yeah, I guess that's when it began. You're right. People like critical drinker, love Andor because they hate George Lucas, they hate laser swords. Yeah, it's like if you want something quote unquote real, then watch something else. And I don't care if you're a traditional, what's become known as a traditional full-blown chill, or if you're an hour cider. Like, if it isn't for you, it isn't for you. But these people want to make this stuff about what they believe in because they don't want to like something that they don't fully agree with, right? Because the people who cry for tolerance are the most intolerant people out there. So they don't want any suggestion that Star Wars is nothing but what they believe in. That's all it is. It's their ideology. George is their ally, and it's not for you. That's, in those words, we've had people tell us that. And they have to make it about themselves. And think about this, like, we're fans of Star Wars and George Lucas's work, and he had Biden in his house election year, right? Does that mean we're going to go burn all our Star Wars stuff? That's how nutty these people are. With TDS and stuff like that, they will go destroy everything because somebody supported the president. We're not going to do that just because George did that. I think it's a dog shit decision for him to do that. In fact, this is a long form video I've been working on and off, I'd say, for a long time, but it's the complicated politics of George Lucas. I'd love to release that sometime in the next 12 to 18 months, but it's a tough one. Takes a lot of research, so it'll come out eventually. But yeah, Ashley Babbitt, go out there and check. Has anyone even brought that up? She got shot and killed by a guard at the Capitol. She wasn't trying to run someone over. In fact, I remember people taunting her and her family when that happened. So where are these people at? They're just exposing themselves and their biases. That's all they're doing. Hayden celebrating May the 4th with Trudeau is worse. Yeah, I remember that. If she killed him, she would be the next Luigi. Yeah, you're exactly right. And it's disgusting when people lionize people like that piece of garbage. Absolute piece of garbage. Yeah, not Trudeau, not Castro, Castro. Liberals mad over saying this woman got a Darwin Award, celebrated Charlie Kirk's. Yeah, that's another example. And that was just a straight up assassination, right? So you're in a whole different ball game there. Whole different ballpark. All right, so Puck News. I couldn't find it, but I know either in 2021, late 2021 or 2022, we were one of the first people to talk about Cuck News. And the only thing I could find out there was an old Bounding into Comics article from November of 2021. And Filoni is talking about Kathleen Kennedy getting re-upped. And he's all criticizing it. And a lot of it doesn't make sense in this article in 2021 where, she's done a great job, but she's bad because there's not enough movies. And obviously 4 years later, there's still no movies that have come out. But it's just a really weird article. I think he's one of those guys that is like a Favreau fan. Like, I don't know, maybe Filoni is Doomcock, right? Don't really know. But they've been around, and we on this channel have discussed them before. I know for a fact. I couldn't find where we had. And in general, you have to have like a membership to read their articles. But let's go ahead and share this. Luckily, the part of the article that we want to look at, you can read. And it's this article, the surefire 100% probable Hollywood predictions. And if you guys will remember, back in, I think, February, there was a rumor, I believe it was from them, or they were one of the sources, that, she's going to be standing down at some point. And then she actually addressed it and said, well, obviously, she's going to stand down sooner or later, but she's not going to get out of the industry. That's what I remember that conversation. But what does this say here from a few days ago? Filoni and Brennan become Jedi Masters at Lucasfilm. In the next week or so, Disney will finally confirm what we've known for months. Kathleen Kennedy is indeed stepping down as Lucasfilm president. And Dave Filoni, currently the chief creative officer of the Star Wars unit, will be elevated into the top job. Simon Hallis, Kennedy's personal assistant, has already set up her cushy exit interview. I'm sure the Pulitzer Committee is standing by for that piece of journalism. So, again, this is coming from Cuck News. And you have everyone and their great-grandma reporting on it. And it's so nuanced because you've got the people on the shill side saying nothing's going to change, which is correct. But you have different people saying it's not going to change, and that's a good thing. It's not going to change, and that's a bad thing. So people are all over the place on this, but nothing is going to change. So let me show you guys something else here. Look at this. Doomcock, May 4th, 2021. Fake Star Wars Day 2021. Why I'm optimistic about the future of Star Wars. And this is back when he still supported Jon and Dave, right? So this video, he's just talking about them so glowingly. Really more Jon than Dave, but he was talking up Dave in this video too. Then you hop forward. Now that's the new one. Look at all these other videos though. This one from just a few years ago. Here it is. Dave Filoni promoted to chief creative officer. Remember that thing at Lucasfilm after Ahsoka, God help us all. So at some point between 2021 and in 2024, he stopped liking Dave. I think it was really hard to defend liking Dave and the notion that he's good for Star Wars. So even people like Doomcock and others, WDW Pro, they kind of turned on him, and suddenly Jon is the one. Jon's secretly fighting all these battles backstage. So what does he do? He makes a video on this latest news, and absolutely no spine whatsoever. I don't know what to think of it. Blah, blah. Well, make a decision. Like, don't make the video until you figured it out. Again, fence riding, not wanting to piss anyone off. The Filoni faithful. He doesn't want to offend them. Everyone's having a hard time getting views on YouTube relative to what your potential views are and what your views have been in the past. Everyone's experiencing it. So, try not to piss people off. I don't know what to think of this. Is it savable? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Melvin says, can't wait for next month to come in no change. Yeah, and again, people on our side are saying it won't make a difference. People on the shill side are saying that. And it won't, because he's been chief creative officer for, 2-3 years now. So, and even before then, I guarantee he had a lot more input. And it's obvious that he's okay with all the messaging that's in there. And even Doomcock himself, there was a video from years back where Dave's at the women's conference saying all that stuff. So the cognitive dissonance that these guys are able to put on display is stunning. That he can be at the women's conference saying all that stuff, but also he's good for Star Wars and he's secretly fighting it. But no, he's the bad one because Ahsoka was bad. I really think it was Ahsoka when that came out. Oh, in Mandalorian Season 3, we didn't like that. Not enough Luke, and they didn't do Luke. So, no, we don't like you anymore. It's just crazy. So, no, nothing will change because Dave's been on board with this all the time. And then the whole thing with his wife and, you know, all the dark stuff, all those pictures that came out that were circulating around the community. Yeah, that too. So it was really hard for these guys to back up someone like Dave Filoni. So they kind of shifted over to Favreau. The Lucasfilm Civil War was real, and Jon Favreau has won. As for the departure of Kathleen Kennedy, once again, Doomcock was right. Yeah. Shit, you could go back to, I think it was 2019 when all this shit started. It was before I was coming around. I know that for sure. Jorge Lucas is in the house. Remember when Frodo and Filoni had security escort Kennedy off the set? Yeah. And again, you saw the thumbnail, the barricade, remember? Cameron Pasha telling us she's barricaded herself in her office. Well, how long is that going to work? Does she have a bathroom in there? She might. Is she going to DoorDash and have them pass it through the window? I mean, come on, guys. It's desperation. And anyone still watching that kind of crap, like, I have to wonder. You're not playing with the full deck. Like, there's other ways to get entertainment than listening to these guys. Then hop over here. I did a search on WDW Pro's channel going back years when Kathleen Kennedy retired him and now it's on the way. Kathleen Kennedy destroyed Star Wars and Disney. Acolyte crashes. Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm change explained. Blah, blah, blah. Lawsuit expose. Exit rumors 2 years ago. I mean, it's just all over the place. The only time I watch this crap is when we want to do like a CTS, faux show, whatever. I would never watch this to try and get real information. Ever. And you got these guys. Yavin-based broadcast. Kathleen Kennedy leaving 4 years ago. Fired again 2 years ago. So they're starting to get cynical about it. New Kathleen Kennedy firing rumors 2 years ago. I mean, it's not news. We're talking about it because they're talking about it. It's different. We're just exposing. It's a grift. Like, oh no, there's a rumor about that. I'm going to make a video. And what's funny is I made one and it, based on the thumbnail, this is a couple of years ago, it looked like I was making one of those types of videos. But when you click on it, it wasn't. I think it got pretty good views. I think it got a couple thousand views because people probably thought that that's what it was about. So again, the source on this, Cuck News, and what's funny is the Forbes article that came out had a phrase like the reliable Puck News. Yeah, they're about as reliable as, Baloney's about as reliable as a giant freaking robot. Remember that website? Let's see, over on the Rumble side, John gets for another $2. It's honestly easier. No, I already read that one. King Chris Filoni signs off on everything. I'm sure he has, even before he had that title. Because for whatever reason, they afford him a great deal of respect in that company and think that, I think he's tricked people into thinking he really was George's apprentice and understand Star Wars. Well, all you got to do is watch TCW and Rebels and all that other garbage he made to know that that is not the case. Of course he signed off on Acolytes, Tizo, all that shit. I mean, and he made Ahsoka. I mean, remember all the people dunking on that? That's really the shift point. Well, again, for us, it was an I told you so moment because we knew it was coming. Andor is good Star Wars. Our side. It's a good Star War, right? Man, there's some references to that in the album coming out tomorrow too. So I just remembered. Space cartwheels. Yeah, and here's the thing, like, I'm sure these guys aren't that dumb. Of course they know it's not true. They're not that dumb, but I don't know if I'd rather be dumb or not have any kind of dignity and standards not to spread that shit, just to get some views. In fact, like, speaking of which, let me click on this. Like, I also have too much dignity to make these faces. That definitely comes up in the album. And I'm sure we'll be talking about that more in the coming weeks because it's actually pretty freaking hilarious. Yeah, it's tough right now on YouTube. That algorithm change they announced, I don't know, a year ago, it's definitely in effect. And then channels being taken down left and right. It's happening for bullying and stuff like that. So got to get on Rumble. Justin's done a great job pioneering how Rumble works, how to get views, how to share streams, and all that kind of stuff. So we've got to grow Rumble. We need your guys' help with that. Like, sign up for an account if you don't have one, if you're watching on YouTube, and follow all our channels, repost stuff, tell friends. You might have friends that want to listen to something else on there during the daytime, Joe Rogan and whoever else is on there. It's not what it was about 5 years ago. It's really grown. And I think they're doing a good job, and people complain about some of the functionality and stuff, but quite honestly, I have a lot of problems with YouTube. Like, when I say I have problems, I mean I have objections to the way that some of their functionality works, so nothing's going to be perfect. But I'm glad that I joined years ago, and most of my videos and live streams are synced up. We just got to continue to grow it. Stezo says apparently it's easier punching pillows than it is punching the sub buttons on Rumble. Yeah, no shit. Or taking a 30-minute shower or whatever the hell else you do, right? Like, just join Rumble, guys, and tell all your family to do it too. All right, let's knock this out.
Shut the door, hit the button, watch them go. You ain't base, here's a quick ticket to get space. We chillin' up in the back room, you floating through the vacuum. Time to end this session, let it at your explosive decompression.
Yeah, so the album's coming out tomorrow and some shit going on tonight. I think somebody screen recorded the live stream for us at Yavin Base Broadcast, but just because of all the shit they've been up to, like really trying to push these fan films as a real alternative, these awful AI fan films, I've got to do Yavin Base Broadcast this week, guys. Get in the airlock. Can't wait to release that album. Gonna have timestamps in the description, so get ready for that. like I said, guys, it's going to be a short stream tonight. We haven't even been going an hour. YBB, Spacem. Who do you got in the shill off tomorrow? Let me get back to you on that. I got to do more research. You're putting me on the spot. Looking forward to that for sure. By the time you go live, like, we've pretty much settled in on Friday nights and stuff. So probably be up here in the studio with a couple of drinks and nice ambient atmosphere with some low lights and just listening to Valley of the Melvin. Baby Dumbo. Trust me, that's sprinkled all throughout the album. You've got to watch the video. I'm telling everyone now, make sure you're watching the screen on most of the songs because you want to laugh at it. Fanatic verse YT in the house saying, "What's up, Tim? How's it going? Thanks for being here." But yeah, thanks to everyone for showing up. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the gifted memberships. I think Sunday, since Greg is out, and this may or may not be your thing, I think that Blake and I are going to plan on maybe doing a wrestling stream. There's a lot of woke, weird stuff going on and business stuff going on and current day wrestling plus old school's fun to talk about. And hopefully we're going to be back on track for Thursday night spacings. It's really tough right now with work and stuff. So once we do that, we'll get back to a lot more structure. But it's been a couple of weeks, and I really wanted to talk about this stuff that's going on, this whole dogshit politics with Andor and Minneapolis, and then the Cuck News stuff. So had to go live, and just, it's good to talk to you guys and see you in the chat for sure. But yeah, be there tomorrow night on Melvin's channel. Shill off. Looking forward to that. And I'll get back to him on who I think is going to take that. But it's going to be a big year in 2026. There's stuff we haven't talked about, that we haven't exposed, that we have in our back pocket. And it's probably going to come out in 2026. Let me just say that much. We're not done with some people yet. But thank you guys. Hope you have a great Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. And we'll see you Sunday night. Sunday. See you later.
USA. A lot of people make jokes about spacing somebody, about shoving somebody out an airlock. I don't think it's funny.